Hi everyone, welcome back to Faith and Flour. I'm Robin and I'm going to jump right in by showing you a little home project that I have been wanting to do ever since we moved here 5 years ago. I had planned to get this done all on my own, but thankfully Patrick volunteered to help here and there. Some of the screws were in really tight, so I needed a little extra elbow grease, and he's a whiz with spackling, so he helped me out with that too. I've done enough DIY and home projects to know that one thing usually does lead to another, and so when I took the valance down, I saw that there were a couple of spots on the window framing that I'm going to need to paint over as well, so I've got to go to the garage and look for that paint color as well. And here in the dining room, I have been wanting to get rid of these curtains since we moved in. I've never been a fan. They're very heavy. I'm not a fan of the pattern at all, or the colors really. It's very masculine, heavy, and dark, and so I'm looking to lighten up this room by removing them. The valance in the laundry room was so easy to remove. It was just Velcroed onto the wood frame that they had screwed into the wall, but these curtains were so heavy they had actually stapled them on. So again, Patrick came in to give me a helping hand. And here in the kitchen, you guys have probably heard me complain about these valances before. I actually think they're really cute. They just get in the way every time we try to open and close the shutters if we want to open the window. So I'll have to get up on a stool or on a chair to free them in order to close the shutters again because they're just out of reach. So I'm really happy to go ahead and get rid of these two. And the paint color in the kitchen is the same as in the laundry room. So I was able to find that in the garage, and I have enough to be able to patch the holes, so these are coming down too. And as you can see, there's no getting around it. I've got to patch up these holes and repaint. So the reason why I procrastinated so long is we have a big box in the garage that was left behind from the builder and the previous owners of a lot of the paint colors that we have throughout our home. But none of them are really labeled, and a lot of them are so old because our house is almost 10 years old that they can't even be used anymore. So I had to go out there, sort through all the paint colors, and hopefully find the right one for all of the places where I need to patch. If it were up to me, I would just get rid of these curtains. I don't plan to put them up ever again or use this fabric for anything, but Patrick really wanted me to hold on to them for a while, so I'm going to free them from the board that it's mounted to so that I can fold them up and store them away so that they won't get damaged. I picked up some fresh spackle from Home Depot on my way home from picking up Peyton, and now I'm going to fill all of those holes. Spackling is not nearly as fun or easy as it looks, so Patrick agreed to help me out with this while I get some dinner going. Tonight I'm making massaman curry. This is my very favorite thing to order whenever we go to a Thai restaurant, and I'm a huge Thai food fan. I looked all over for a recipe that doesn't call for the specific massaman curry paste which you buy, because that contains soy and Peyton can't have soy. So I searched high and low for a recipe, and I actually found one by the Minimalist Baker, and I'm already a big fan of hers. I have one of her cookbooks which I've talked about on my channel before, and I found this one online, so I'm going to have it linked in the description box if you want the full recipe. This recipe just calls for spices that you probably already have in your spice drawer or cabinet, along with this Thai curry paste. And this is an all-natural blend of some Thai spices, and I can find this easily in my local grocery store. I've seen it just about everywhere, so it should be readily available to everyone. One ingredient in this recipe is something that you may not be familiar with, and it's coconut aminos. This is basically a soy sauce substitute for people who eat gluten-free, and we eat gluten-free, but you can use soy sauce in its place if you don't have coconut aminos. And then to sweeten it up, you just add a little maple syrup, and the sort of secret ingredient to this sauce is a little bit of peanut butter. If you love the flavors of pad thai, then you'll probably love this too. I find that it has even less of a peanutty sort of taste. It's kind of in the background, but it makes this sauce so rich and delicious. If you think it sounds weird, try it. You're gonna love it. At the very end of the cooking time, you'll add the juice of 1 lime. This really brightens up the sauce and gives it that Thai flavor. I love to serve this over a mound of jasmine rice, or you could also use basmati, just like they do at my favorite Thai restaurant. Roasted peanuts are a traditional ingredient in this recipe. You add them at the end, and I didn't have any on hand, and that's one of my favorite parts of this recipe. I really love those. They add a crunch and a really nice flavor, but it was great without. So either way, whether you are already a fan of Thai food or you're just curious about it, I would definitely check out this recipe. It's so easy to make at home. It's perfect for the fall weather because it incorporates all of those nice warm spices that we associate with the season. After dinner, Patrick finished up the spackling and we gave it overnight to dry so that I could start painting first thing in the morning. Luckily, I found almost a full can of paint that matches the laundry room and the kitchen area, and I also found the one for the dining room. I did a little test in an inconspicuous place to make sure that it matched, and I was good to go. I've done a lot of interior painting over the years. In our previous home, we painted almost every room in our home. And so I came up with a little trick when you need to do a second coat and you don't want to wash out your brush or throw away the paint that you've put in a little cup or whatever. I just use some plastic wrap to wrap up the brush, or like this little sponge brush. I also put some over the cup that I have the paint in, and this will keep it moist for a few hours or even overnight while you wait for the paint to dry, and you can just continue on without having to wash anything. This has worked really great for me. After doing the paint touch-ups in the laundry room, kitchen, and dining room, I found the trim color paint and took care of these little spots in the dining room too. And while I had the paint out, I went around our house, and because we have the same trim color everywhere, which is super helpful, I was able to patch up some little chips and spots here and there to give everything a little bit of a freshen up. If you have some trim paint on hand, I highly recommend doing this. It really does just take a few minutes, and if you get one of these little sponge brushes, you can just toss it so there's not even any cleanup. And going around and repairing all these little areas makes a huge difference. It really does give your home a nice fresh look. To prepare the surface before painting, I recommend using a microfiber cloth and a little water. This is one of my e-cloths, just to clean it really well. And I actually discovered that a couple of places that I thought I was going to need to patch actually could be cleaned off. And once the surface is dry, you can do your touch-up. While waiting for the paint to dry, I decided to do another little DIY project that I've been doing ever since the pandemic, and that is to open up my little home salon. And Peyton really needed a haircut. I let it go quite a long time between, and it was time to do something about it. I feel like this is really a win-win situation. I'm not an expert hairdresser. I don't have any training, but it doesn't really matter. It saves time, it saves money, and because we're not really going anywhere, it doesn't matter how great it turns out. And if we do go somewhere, we're wearing masks. After a quick rinse in our tub just to get rid of the loose hairs, I'm ready for my next customer. And then, of course, there's a little bit of cleanup to do. After that, it was time to inspect my work, and oops, I think I got the paint color wrong here in the dining room, and there is no other paint to choose from, so I think I'm just going to have to live with this and pretend that this doesn't show. Actually, I think it overall looks really good. I'm glad that the curtains are gone. I'm not quite sure what to do about the paint, but at least in the laundry room and the kitchen, it was a seamless match, and we spend a lot more of our time in those areas, so I'll just deal with it. I hope you enjoyed today's video. It's a little different, not just cleaning, a lot of other little things going on, but more of a peek into the day in the life of a homemaker. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give me a thumbs up. If you're new here, I want to invite you to subscribe. It's easy. All you have to do is click on my picture. And if you would like to see more videos, make sure you check out these. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. I really look forward to hearing from you in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great week.